Hi guys! Let's talk about April Fools, a day of harmless pranks and tricks. What if this day has deeper symbolism, rooted in history, culture, and psychology? Stick with me, because we're about to dive into the hidden layers of April Fool's Day and explore its surprising meaning. Before we dive into the symbolism, let's take a quick look at how April Fools came to be. Though its exact origins are still unclear, one of the most widely accepted theories is that it dates back to the 16th century. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII adopted the Gregorian calendar, moving the start of the new year from April 1st to January 1st. However, people who continued to celebrate the new year on April 1st were seen as foolish. These April Fools were often the victims of pranks, and over time, this tradition evolved into the playful celebration we know today. But the question remains, why have we, for centuries, associated this day with trickery, humor, and lighthearted deception? What deeper cultural or psychological forces are at play? One of the primary symbols of April Fools is the ritual of foolishness itself. In many societies, rituals involving mockery, inversion, and playful chaos have existed for centuries. Think of ancient festivals like the Roman Saturnalia or the medieval Feast of Fools, where societal norms were temporarily upended. These celebrations allowed people to mock their rulers, swap roles, and indulge in behavior that would otherwise be seen as unacceptable. April Fool's Day, in a way, taps into this ancient tradition of temporarily abandoning social rules. By allowing ourselves to be fools for a day, we step outside the rigid constraints of everyday life and engage in something spontaneous and unpredictable. It's almost as if society gives us permission to embrace absurdity. And the beauty of it? It's a collective experience. Everybody knows what day it is, and the atmosphere is charged with humor, confusion, and that underlying sense of camaraderie. We all become part of the joke. April Fool's Day brings to the forefront the power of deception. But why do we, as humans, love deception so much? On a psychological level, deception and trickery can be both thrilling and unsettling. When we're pranked, our first instinct is to feel shocked, maybe even angry or embarrassed. But this initial emotional reaction quickly fades into laughter. The trick is never truly harmful, it's just a temporary disruption of our reality. Psychologically, being fooled is something we can laugh at because we know it's not real. It reminds us of our own vulnerability and the limitations of our perception. At its core, April Fool's Day reminds us that reality is often more fluid than we like to admit, and our sense of certainty is always in flux. This makes us laugh, not just because of the trick itself, but because we realize that we're all in on the joke together. This brings us to another layer of symbolism. April Fool's Day connects closely with the trickster archetype, a figure found in myths and folklore across cultures. The trickster is the cunning, unpredictable figure who challenges authority, exposes contradictions, and plays with the rules of reality. In Greek mythology, characters like Hermes and Loki from Norse myth are classic examples of trickster gods who create chaos, often revealing hidden truths in the process. On April 1st, we, too, take on the role of the trickster. By playing pranks or pretending something absurd is true, we engage in a little bit of mischief, questioning the seriousness of life. But the trickster isn't just a troublemaker. Trickster figures often bring change and transformation. They expose the cracks in society, making us question norms and assumptions. In a way, April Fool's Day serves as a playful reminder not to take ourselves too seriously, and that a little laughter can often bring about perspective and growth. April Fool's is also steeped in the concept of inversion. Just like the ancient festivals where social roles were reversed, April 1st is a day where social order is temporarily upended. In a sense, everything becomes topsy-turvy. We see pranks that challenge what we know to be true. A CEO might pull a prank on their employees, or a teacher might surprise their students with a bizarre lesson. The familiar structures of life, work, school, and home are disrupted by something unexpected, something absurd. This inversion of social order can be seen as a way of temporarily breaking free from societal expectations. It gives people the chance to express their individuality, humor, and creativity in a way that wouldn't be tolerated on any other day. But even in this inversion, there's a sense of balance. It's not total chaos, there's still an underlying agreement that everyone is in on the joke. While April Fool's is mostly seen as lighthearted fun, it can also raise deeper questions about humor, boundaries, and empathy. Some pranks go too far. The fine line between harmless fun and hurtful behavior can be blurred, especially when the pranks target sensitive topics or vulnerable people. This brings us to the ethical side of the symbolism of April Fool's Day. When does humor cross the line into cruelty? Pranks and jokes are meant to bring people together, but if they cause emotional distress or damage relationships, the prankster has missed the mark. The true spirit of April Fool's Day lies in the celebration of shared laughter, not at the expense of others. This is why the best pranks are those that are inclusive, lighthearted, and don't rely on exploiting someone else's weaknesses. It's a reminder that humor, in its best form, should unite, not divide. At a deeper level, April Fool's Day reminds us of the inherent absurdity of life. We live in a world where things don't always make sense. There's chaos, unpredictability, and surprise lurking around every corner. Whether it's an unexpected plot twist in a movie, an unpredictable weather pattern, or even an inexplicable decision made by a political leader, life itself is full of surprises. April Fool's Day, with its playful spirit of trickery and deception, can be seen as a metaphor for life's absurdity. It reflects the unpredictable nature of existence, and how, at times, we must embrace the unexpected with humor and grace. Life doesn't always follow the script, and neither should we. Just as we laugh at a well-executed prank, we can learn to laugh at the absurdities of life itself, understanding that sometimes, the best thing we can do is roll with the punches and not take ourselves too seriously. One of the most powerful aspects of April Fool's is its collective nature. It's not a holiday that people celebrate in isolation. Whether it's a prank among friends or a global news story about a fictitious event, the essence of April Fool's Day lies in its shared experience. We, as a society, have agreed that April 1st will be a day of playful deception, and this collective agreement binds us all together. We're all in on it, and that creates a sense of unity, however temporary it may be. This shared experience is part of what makes the symbolism of April Fool's so powerful. It's a day when we collectively let go of our usual roles and expectations, and instead embrace the chaos, the laughter, and the absurdity. In a way, it's a celebration of the human condition, our shared vulnerability, our collective humor, and our ability to find joy even in the most unexpected places. Over the centuries, April Fool's Day has transformed from a simple prank-based tradition to a cultural phenomenon. Today, it's not just about tricking your friends or family, it's become a global event. Social media platforms are flooded with elaborate hoaxes, brands create viral marketing campaigns with shocking, fabricated announcements, and news outlets sometimes even get in on the fun with satirical reports. But what does this say about the evolution of April Fool's Day? As our world becomes more interconnected, the scope of what's considered an April Fool's prank has expanded. What once started as a local tradition is now a global event, and with that, the stakes have risen. The pranks are more elaborate, more creative, and at times, more divisive. Yet, even with this evolution, the underlying symbolism remains the same. April Fool's Day is still about embracing the absurd, playing with reality, and finding humor in the unexpected. It's a reminder that, despite all the chaos and unpredictability of life, laughter is one of the most powerful tools we have to navigate the unknown. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.